So here's the thing. If you want to live in a walkable community in San Diego, we're talking Little Italy, downtown, or any of the coastal areas throughout San Diego County, then an attached property, a condo or townhome, might just be for you. My name is Dan Parker with the Best Life Home Team, your San Diego real estate resource. And there are two main reasons as to why you would want to live in a condo or a townhome here in San Diego. And that's either going to have to do to a limited budget, or you want a lifestyle. You want to live in a walkable community. You want low maintenance of your property in a prime location. And either way, on either one of those scenarios, this is your guide to help you figure out what to know, the mistakes to avoid, along with my 3 favorite communities for condos in San Diego County. So the first step in this process is always going to be figuring out the budget and the locations that match that budget. Whether you're looking to rent or buy a home doesn't really matter. You just want to know where you're going to end up, or understand what areas are not the right areas for you to be in. Thing to note about this process when it comes to condos specifically is about 50% of the condos in San Diego County are actually located in downtown San Diego. So of course, that's going to be a large hub, a big hub for where a lot of these condos are going to be located. And when you start to break down the location and the budget, one of the first questions you need to ask yourself is, are you going to be driving a lot? Do you need quick access to the freeway to get all around San Diego County? Do you have a job that you need to get to every single day, or can you work from home? And knowing that certain areas are kind of difficult to get in and out of, places like downtown San Diego and Point Loma, you can feel a little bit kind of stuck in those areas because the traffic coming in and out is not easy to get around. Whereas on the other side, somewhere like Mission Valley, University City, these are places that have very quick freeway access and it's very easy to get around. There are some other unique perspectives and unique things that you need to consider as well, whereas not just what it's going to be like on an average day, but what about on those peak times? Somewhere like a part of downtown San Diego next to Petco Park, understanding the traffic of the baseball games are pretty intense. So if you're looking to get in and out during those times, it's going to be quite difficult. And on the other side of that coin, if you prefer to go with public transportation, if that is an option for you, it's fairly limited in San Diego compared to some other big cities. But if you have access to the trolley line, or if you have access to the coaster, the train that goes up and down the coast, and that is suitable for your needs, then understand you need to live along those lines so that you can get access to that public transportation. But as far as lifestyle, the main draw is usually going to be either downtown San Diego or specifically Little Italy. Not all of downtown San Diego is created equal. Parts like Little Italy tend to be areas where there's less tourists going through and more locals like to go to. It has amazing restaurants. It's a really incredible place to go and visit. Another draw might be being close to a university. You have University of San Diego, you have UCSD, you have SDSU. There are several major universities here in San Diego, and having a condo with close proximity is going to be very important for some people. And then of course you have the third kind of lifestyle that people are looking for with this walkability is usually going to be these coastal regions. You have North County coastal like Solana Beach, Encinitas, or Oceanside. And let's be honest, it's San Diego. Beaches are a major draw to live here. So living somewhere that is close to the beach, not spending $2 or $3 million for a single family home is going to be important for some people. And this step here, trying to figure out your budget is usually going to be the easier selection, but then trying to figure out which areas fit your budget that are best fit for your lifestyle is going to be the most difficult if you don't currently live in San Diego or know it really well. So if this is something that you need help with, this is something we specialize in as our team, you can click below and get a free discovery session with myself where we can actually hop on a Zoom call and go into detail on what your needs and wants are and figure out what are the best neighborhoods for you. For example, I had some clients that loved the idea of downtown San Diego. They love the high rises, they love the walkability. There was a huge draw there, but they also really liked areas like North Park and University Heights, which had a little bit more laid back lifestyle, but maybe not the exact types of properties that they were looking for. So we're able to kind of show them and introduce them to Bankers Hill, which is geographically right in between those two areas, but also it's a perfect combination of both. It's the feel that you get downtown with a little bit less chaos, I guess is the way to put it. You have really nice high rises. You have that downtown luxury penthouse feel. You can get that there in Bankers Hill, but you're in a nice, walkable, quiet community, which is the perfect thing that they were looking for. All right, so step number 2 on this journey, after you decide what areas make the most sense, where is your budget and your lifestyle going to bring you, the next step is finding the perfect home. And this is the point where people start to make mistakes. There's a lot to consider when looking at specific properties, especially when they're attached properties with HOAs and buildings that you need to make sure are maintained properly. So when you're actually visiting these properties, whether it's with an open house or it's with an agent, or you're trying to look for a rental, again, it doesn't really matter, but keep in mind, how difficult is it to find this unit? How difficult is it to park in this area? And how well maintained is this building? If there's visually deferred maintenance all over the place, that's usually a sign that there are issues with the the HOA. Maybe they're not financially where they need to be in order to keep up with all this maintenance. Maybe they're not managed very well, but those visual cues that you get on the exterior of the building and going into the building are going to be really, really big in a long-term basis. When you're actually living in the property, starting to get those hints is really, really important. Another huge tip that I have is when you're visiting these places, you're going to run into people. You're going to run into people on the elevator. You're going to run into people at the lobby in different areas, checking out the amenities. Strike up conversations. Ask them how they like living there. Find out if they're willing to tell you whether they own their place or they're renting. Just getting an idea of what's a quantity of renters versus owner occupied. And none of those are deal breakers, but just starting to get a better sense of what that complex is like is going to be really helpful for you. And the next thing you need to know when it comes to specific properties is what's included. The main questions to ask or to keep in mind for specific properties is, does this unit come with a parking space or parking spaces, additional storage or a bike locker for you, like something outside of your actual unit? A lot of times they have storage that they don't actually publicize, but asking that question, you can find out maybe there is some extra storage available. And is there laundry in your unit? You would be surprised at how many million-dollar condos in these coastal communities that were built in the 70s do not have washer and dryer in the unit. And of course, that's going to be a huge deal breaker for a lot of people. And because there's going to be an HOA and a managing body and rules and regulations, you want to find out some information on the HOA. Specifically, if you have a pet, do they allow pets? Are there restrictions on the certain types of breeds or weight or quantity of pets that you can have? And if you're buying this property and you want to potentially rent it out in the future or maybe live there half of the year, does the HOA have restrictions against rentals? A lot of HOAs restrict against short-term rentals here in San Diego. So if that is your plan, it's not going to work in every single property. Are there any specific upgrades that you want on the property? Are you looking for a gas stove? Upgrade that electric to a gas stove. Do you want hardwood floor instead of carpet? Sometimes there are restrictions against these things, so you want to know ahead of time if that's going to be really important for you. And of course, you want to know the rules of the HOA and the financial health of the HOA so that you can get an idea of what it's like living there. Unfortunately, a lot of times you're going to have to do this due diligence after you get an offer accepted because you're not going to have that information until a seller orders it for around $1,000 to be delivered to you during escrow. But don't worry, because this is one of your contingencies. It's part of your due diligence, part of the research you do to make sure that this is where you want to live. Next up, you want to know the cost of that HOA and the amenities associated with it. So what specifically are you looking for? Are you okay spending $1,000 a month or more on a downtown condo if that includes a gym, if that includes a front reception, if that includes a nice pool? You might want those things. But if you're not going to use them, of course, what is the point of spending $1,000 a month if you aren't actually going to take advantage of those things? Or do you want to avoid high HOAs altogether? Either way, you need to consider this cost because it's going to add up quick along with everything else. And the last thing you want to consider when it comes to specific properties is, what is the resale consideration? Is this a property, whether you're looking to live in it personally or it's an investment property and you're going to rent it out, you want to have an idea, is this a good investment for your future? Are you planning to live in it for a couple of years and then rent it out or sell it? Planning to live in it for 10 or 20 years? There's going to be different considerations on both. But general rule of thumb for condos specifically is going to be close to a university or in a major metropolitan area or coastal region. Those are going to be the areas that have the highest potential for appreciation and holding value. Other areas that are developing and not completely developed might have a higher potential upside, but they're also going to carry a bigger risk because we don't know for sure what's going to happen with that area in 10 or 15 years. So ask yourself, what is your appetite for risk on this property and how long are you able to wait it out? All right, now that you know, hopefully at least a little bit more about a condo search, let me tell you about my 3 favorite places. There are a lot of places, but I can tell you my 3 top places to own a condo here in San Diego County. And for the record, these are in no particular order. Actually, I take that back. I'm going south to north. First off is going to be Bankers Hill. I like this because it's a bit of a hidden gem. It's very close to downtown San Diego, Little Italy, North Park, butts up to Balboa Park. It has newer high-rises, tons of walkability, but like I mentioned before, a little bit less chaotic than having to live in downtown San Diego and just a little bit easier to get around. But I love that you can hop on a scooter or have a bike and get to Little Italy or get to North Park, and there's just so many options coming from Bankers Hill. And second is going to be Pacific Beach. I like Pacific Beach a lot. Extremely central. It has miles and miles of white sandy beach access. It has a ton of restaurants, stores, bars, clubs. There's just a lot to do. There are parks, there are beaches, there are restaurants. If you don't have to drive out far for work every single day, you can really be a beach bum and live your best life over there in Pacific Beach. I love it. You can also find decent affordability. You can find condos today in the $500,000 range, depending on what you're looking for and what your needs and wants are. There are condos available in the $500,000 range in Pacific Beach today. Condos that you can walk to the beach from. And number 3 on the list is going to be a place that I've mentioned many a times before. I think it's a place that has a tremendous potential upside for growth, for appreciation, a lot of new businesses going in, a lot of new buildings going in, and that is going to be Oceanside. Oceanside is the northernmost coastal community here in San Diego County, and here's the reason why I love it. There's nowhere else in San Diego where you can find an oceanfront condo with expansive views of the Pacific Ocean, literally steps, or at least like a block and a half away from the beach for $1 million, plus or minus $100,000. I mean, you can find that in Oceanside in a nice walkable downtown area for right around $1 million. And I know if you're coming from other places, you're gonna say, damn, that's a heck of a lot of money for a condo. But here's the thing, $1 million is about the average price of a single family home in San Diego County. So if you're looking to buy property here in San Diego, it's kind of the average, as far as single family homes go. But actually getting that luxurious of an opportunity of expansive ocean views right on the beach is incredible. Now I've done full neighborhood tours of these areas I just mentioned right here that you probably want to check out. But if you're looking to buy a condo here in San Diego County, myself, the Best Life Home team, we would love to help you out. I have some links below where you can reach out to us, or you can text the word home to get started. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.